Are you currently separated and wondering when is enough enough? Today, we're going to be covering the topic what to do when you've been separated and you're not sure when is the time to give up. Because when you love your wife and your kids dearly, it's one of the most difficult decisions to make. But who's best to answer these questions than men who have been there and done that? Today, I'm extremely excited and happy to welcome an incredible group of men who have been there, who have had challenges in their marriage, who have shown up and have come out of the process of having struggles in their marriage to become strong, magnetic, independent men. Arc Legends assemble. Welcome, you beautiful motherfuckers. How are y'all doing?
Beautiful.
Good, man.
Wonderful. Awesome. Wonderful to have you all here today. We're going to be answering the questions that we've been receiving online. So let's get straight into it today. The question that we have today, guys, is it's from Tim from the US. And his question is, what should I do? So I'm separated for 6 months. When is it time to give up? So what I'm picking up from that question is frustration, because, you know, we all know what it feels like when your wives check out and they say they're done. There's that moment of panic and where you're wondering what you want to, what to do. What Tim's facing, it's not the same thing, right? He's 6 months in and he's wondering, what should I actually do here? When is it enough? When should I move on? So guys, why do you think men have such difficulty in deciding when is it time to move on? After 6 months, you've been trying your best. Let's just read between the lines. We're assuming Tim's been trying his best to get his marriage back on track. Why do you think we as men have such a difficult problem of actually making the decision when is it time to give up? So why don't we start off with you, Ronan? Why do you think men have a difficult time making that decision?
Wow, first off, I don't think there's a one single answer. There isn't a blanket answer that will cover. There isn't one size fits all in this kind of situation. Mainly because I believe that the truth of the matter is everyone's situation is different. There's a whole bevy of variables in everyone's situation. Here's an example. It depends on how in the 6 months that you've been separated, how far in is one spouse leaning, how far out is the other spouse going out, right? So there's that. And I think the main question really is, how much work has the man been doing on himself in this 6 months? If you haven't gone in to really do some deep internal dives on where you are currently, is it a reaction? Are you responding to something, or are you trying to react through pain, trying to get away? Are you running away from something versus actually, leaning towards, not fixing a problem, but healing.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing here, Ronan, is it kind of depends on how much work you've done on yourself when you can actually again decide, okay, it's time to move on, or there's still hope. What about you, Apache? What do you think? When do you think why do you think men have a difficult time at deciding when it's time to move on and give up?
I think right off the bat, I'd say like ego. It's men's ego, that feeling of defeat, I guess. That something that they've built and been in control of, and as a partnership, to then to say, time's up, enough's enough. I've done everything I can, and it's still not worked. I think that's probably the stage that a lot of men don't want to agree they're at. Their ego says, no, there's more you can do. There's more that you can do. There's always more. So that would be my guess, is that the male ego, it doesn't want to be defeated by something that's potentially not in their control.
Okay. Gotcha. And I think there's also two spectrums here. There's people that give up real quick and never really look at, what happened in the marriage. And then there's guys, I've had people reaching out to join our program that have been separated for years, right? Which is on the other end of it, where they don't really know when to quit, Okay, so you feel like it's so from Ronan, you think it's because it's based on how much work you've done on yourself, is kind of how you know when it's time to move on or not. And then from you, Apache, you're saying, you know, that men kind of struggle with knowing when it's time to give up because of our ego, because we're driven, and that makes sense. And let's be honest, guys, there's so much on the table, right? When the marriage collapses, you've built a life together with your wives, right? You got the finances, you got the house, you got the kids. There's so much tied up in that. So it really, it's not an easy decision. So Tim, first and foremost, let us just acknowledge that it is the most difficult decision that you're ever going to make, is when is it time to give up? So let's try and help Tim out here with some more, you know, tips, practical tips. Levia, what do you think from your side? What needs to be considered? So when you're deciding, you know, weighing up, is it time to keep working on the marriage, or is it time to move on? What needs to be considered in that decision?
Yeah, I think I would speak from my own personal experience, and to kind of piggyback maybe what Ronan said. Ultimately, there's no one size fits all. At the end of the day, I think each and every man has to work on themselves and look in the mirror and know that they did everything they could to feel good about themselves. That's part of building yourself up. So from my personal experience, I didn't wait 6 months. I waited over a year. You know, I tried to reconcile my marriage or work on myself, and that was my focus. Ultimately, I think each man will know when they know I've done everything I could, and I feel if I can look at myself in the mirror, I can face my kids. I think that was a major factor, is to know that one day my kids may ask, you know, why are mommy and daddy not together? And I can, you know, look them straight in the eye and say, you know, I tried everything I could and I loved your mom, but there was just a point where, you know, it wasn't going to work, and, you know, it was time to move on. And I think that's part of your healing process too, right? So I think until I knew I was healed, until I knew I was grounded, and I knew that I had a vision for my future that maybe didn't have my ex-wife in that situation, I wasn't ready to give up. It was more like, I'm going to table it, work on myself, and wherever the stars align, they'll align. And, you know, you'll know. Every man will know for himself. So it isn't a blanket statement that, oh, it's 6 months or 9 months, I'm done. It's you'll know when you know.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I would so I think that's because that's been your experience of going through the ARC system. I would challenge that, whether each man will really know, because I think there's men out there that go years who are like, is there still a chance? I'll reach out and they'll be like, Luke, is there still a chance of, you know, saving my marriage? What do you think, Optimus? So thanks for sharing that, Levia. What do you think, Optimus? So what do you think? What do you think is needed? Because I think Levia, because he's obviously had the experience of going through the ARC system, and he knows it's about healing, and he knows that by doing the work, you get to a point of peace, and you can make decisions. But Tim's not in the ARC system, so without, you know, with us, you know, kind of explaining it as best you can, what do you think is needed for a person to be able to get to a place where they can make that a healthy decision? Because let's be honest, this is about making a healthy decision. It's not about giving up too early and just saying, you know, fuck this. This isn't my fault. My wife is a XYZ. It's all on her. That's not healthy, you know? And at the same time, it's also not healthy where you're just like, I need my wife. I'm nothing without her. And I'm going to, you're going to keep working on it. I'm never going to stop fighting for my marriage. And, you know, 3-4 years down the line, you're maybe in an in-house separation where there's no sex, no love, and your kids are, you know, seeing this painful, drawn-out, dead marriage. That's also not healthy. So what do you think, Optimus, is actually then required to be able to make that decision?
Definitely giving each other the space. I would say for sure to be able to allow you to have that mental clarity to kind of see and pull yourself out of the relationship and kind of view it from outside, I think. So it gives you a good idea of what, you know, some of the things that were happening within the marriage that you could potentially fix for the new marriage, potentially, if that is the thing that the old marriage was done and you're trying to start a new relationship with your wife. I would say is definitely pulling back. Working on yourself is huge. That's definitely one thing that I did, was pull away, because she wanted the space, pull away, work on yourself, and keep telling her, I'm working on myself to be able to come forward as a better man for this relationship, if that is what is going to happen down the road. If not, then at least you are comfortable with the decision that you're going to make yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's all you. You're the only person that can make yourself happy. And if you're not happy, you cannot bring that forward out to the world.
Right on. And the healing process is so important, right? And we can do healing in different ways. Like, you know, there's therapy, there's, you know, counseling, and there's coaching. There's lots of different modalities for healing, but it is important to be able to get that, to be able to get clarity on your situation. Because the way I like to see it or describe it is when the marriage like collapses, it's like a car crash. It's like on your motorway, on your freeway, a head-on collision, right? It's a fucking mess. You're completely disoriented. You don't know what's going on. And it's like that you then be made a decision to, somebody goes, hey, rather than getting an ambulance, they grab you, put you into another car and say, you know, you need to get to your destination, which is save the marriage. And it's dark, it's fucking, you know, it's misty, and they're like getting you in the car. You've just had a crash. You're fucking battered up. You're in bits, but you say, you know what, I'm going to fucking drive. And you put the boot down. And of course, you're just going to create more damage, you know? So that's why it's so important when you find yourself in this situation of your marriage collapsing, is you need to, like you said, Optimus, is to heal. That's like having the car crash and going in, the ambulance coming, and taking time to heal so you can see things clear, rather than rushing forward and driving at breakneck speed with a concussion and not being able to see clearly, and you're just going to cause more damage. So that's really well put, Optimus. Yes, the healing is really, really important. Now, so Cowboy, what do you think? You know, I talked about some of the mistakes that men make when their marriage falls to pieces. Like in Tim's case, he's separated for 6 months. We talked about trying to rush too quickly to just try and reconcile, to save the marriage it's a big mistake. What other mistakes do you think, now that, you know, that you've got all this, you know, experience of what happened in your marriage, what do you think are the other mistakes, the common mistakes that men make when they're facing a separation or when the marriage is in trouble?
Yeah, they focus too much time and effort on the relationship and their wife. They don't give themselves a purpose. They don't give themselves their own. They don't fill their own cup up, if you will. They just completely ignore themselves, just like they have already been doing. But they kind of ramp it up. They just kind of ramp that up, because now you're in this position where you don't want to be away from your wife. You don't want to be separated from your wife. You don't want to lose this thing that you've built over a period of time. But you also don't make the connection that it's already dead and gone. It's already dead and gone. So now you're fighting for something that's not even there. So the number one thing that I can think of that helped me in my own situation was focusing on myself and giving myself my own drive, my own purpose, which translated back into my relationship eventually, and then immediately translated back into my kids and every other relationship that I had outside of myself.
Wonderful. Okay. So trying to fix the marriage before you fix yourself is what you're talking about, right?
Pretty much.
If we look around our table, our digital round table that we have going here today, we're seeing a lot of heads nodding, right? This is a very common issue. It's trying to fix the marriage before we fix ourselves. Okay, gotcha. Another mistake I find that men make is that they feel like the only way to resolve this is to get to counseling. That couple counseling is the only way to resolve this, right? Why do you guys think that is actually a mistake? Like that's the be end and end all. So as in either they go to the counseling with you, then there's a possibility, or if they don't, the marriage is done.
I'm so triggered right now.
Let
me take this real quick because I gotta get this out. You know, I actually think my wife asked for us to get into counseling right away when she asked for a divorce. And first off, unbeknownst to me, by the time we got into marriage counseling, first off, I was exactly like Cowboy described. I was on my knees, needy, trying desperately to run and fix something. right? So at her request, I was like, oh yeah, I picked up the phone, got a list of nearby therapists and marriage counselors and all that, and found somebody. In fact, I found somebody who I thought she would like, this kind of this. Anyway, so we went to this session, and as we got into these sessions, I immediately noticed that, wait a minute, she is kind of setting me up. This whole thing was really not about fixing us. She's trying to really angle to make sure that the therapist is talking me into making sure that we can find a solution to dissolve the marriage. And I also found within the therapy sessions, well, at least the counseling sessions, there were never any solutions. We would always just dig up the past, present what frustrated us or what wasn't working, and that was it. Okay, see you next week. Oh, the hour's up, and there was never any tools, any solutions to actually get to the root of the issue for yourself individually or as the couple. And literally, I would walk away more pissed off after every session, and then being currently at that time was in the in-house separation. The separation actually was made. The sessions made the separation even further. So every time we got home, we just would go off into our corners. It exacerbated the situation more than anything, and that's when I started to look for something else. I was such a mess. I knew that I needed to find some sort of way to get this pain out of me, and that's why I went searching, and then obviously found your videos and resonated.
Awesome.
With those
videos. And now you're in the round table and sharing your wisdom, man. So,
yeah.
Oh, it is wonderful.
Yeah,
It's wonderful that you guys are getting to show up and share your experience. Okay. I think you really hit the nail on the head there with regard to counseling, and not that we have anything against couple counseling as well. It's like with everything in life, right? There's good couple counselors, there's good coaches, good counselors, there's bad ones, right? But when
you also you actually got to search for it. It's not gonna. You can't just open a phone book or go on the Google and find that person that's literally gonna vibe with you, understand. I mean, you're talking about bringing a marriage into a therapy session. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about that for a second, you're talking about bringing years of something, and opening this book up for a stranger who's got a bunch of plaques on the wall.
Yeah.
Did you guys all have therapy? Did all of you have therapy?
Oh yeah,
I did.
You didn't. Optimus,
okay, so we got 3 of you, 2 of you didn't.
Anyway.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks for sharing on that one, Ronan. Okay, so you all managed to find your way into the ARC system, and we have the strongest brotherhood. We already got a couple of guys who are watching online at the moment. I know we got Billy Strategic is joining us, watching the live here. It's great to have you on the live with us, Billy Strategic. Anybody else who drop a comment? And anybody, when you're watching this video, guys, we want to respond to every single comment that's underneath this video. If you got questions, drop them down below, and we'll also get back to you. So how important has it been for you guys, when the shit hit the fan, to be able to come into a community of fucking badasses, like guys like you, dads who were not just going to take it lying down, who wanted to grow out of this difficult situation? How important has community been to you on your journey? So let's start off with Cowboy on that. How important has being a part of a community of dads helped you on your journey?
I was hesitant at first.
I know there's a lot of manliness, man. I know we're intimidating. I get that.
Well, no, because you see these things that say, okay, here's another program, and then you got to factor in, okay, I'm gonna be what's it gonna be? Like, I'm gonna be sharing my story with a bunch of random people I don't know. But that goes back into what we were talking about earlier with with our egos and not getting ourselves right and whatnot. Pretty quickly, after starting the work, I realized how important it really did become to me. I started feeling more free. I started feeling more open, more accepted. It's not just this experience isn't just unique to me.
Yeah.
This experience isn't just unique to me. And sorry, I had to get a
You're
rattle
just
with.
getting out of the car now. You just say, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." If
No.
you're gonna do it, at least make sure you're driving at a really fucking fast speed so we can have a good laugh.
No, there's a big ass rat coming straight for the car. but
Your ex-wife, was it?
Steady on, Apache. Steady on now.
No, but no, what was I saying? Okay, so I lost my train of thought there.
You
guys-
said that
Cowboy needs a hug. He needs a virtual hug.
Yeah, but you were saying it was difficult. Did you want to share the mess that was your marriage with a group of strangers? Was the kind of hesitation?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's
And then how important? Then once you applied for the ARC system, you came and you met the rest of these guys. A couple of them are on this discussion today. How has it been? How important has it been?
well, like I said, it's just the understanding of knowing that this isn't unique to me. My experience hasn't been unique to me. Allowed me to open the door to one, release a lot of the anxiety that I was holding on to, release a lot of the stress that I was holding on to, and actually start taking observing things in an objective viewpoint rather than a subjective viewpoint. Which was created a lot by me based on my own rumination and everything. So it kind of this experience has been able to kind of ground me. And
yeah, gotcha.
Allow me to draw from others' experiences to kind of level me out, if you will.
Right, because I think a lot of guys, when they're facing issues in the marriage, they feel totally alone. Would that be fair to say, guys? You feel isolated and like you're in this kind of bubble where it's only you and nobody else has this problem. And there's the shame of the marriage falling apart. There's obviously then your wife talking to you and telling you things. You're wondering, you start questioning, what is reality? Was I really that bad a husband? So there's all these different things to take into consideration until you come in and you have other sounding boards of guys that are going through the exact same thing and can give you a different perspective.
You know what? I don't know about all you guys. I know, like early on in my shit, I called everybody, talked to friends, other divorced friends, my people in my family, and just got all this feedback that actually in a lot of ways just made things worse.
The cause. Yeah.
Like some people were taking sides, like friends that were really happy, actually, like, oh, great, dude, hurry up, let's get it going, let's get back to the club, and then I had, all this stuff. And so, you're just like, what? And it just made things worse. And to your point, Cowboy, like getting into a community and kind of, I was hesitant too. Like, man, do I really want to dig up all this shit?
Believe me, we were hesitant about letting you in as well. You fucking crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, drawn from everybody else's experience, that whole thing to discover that, wow, this is not unique, was very strangely comforting. In that, okay, I can actually share here and be understood. And I tell you, Levi was, everybody knows him and I have started, we've started a bromance. He has said something early on.
Why do I get it? Why do I get a feeling I should be stopping this live stream soon? Just got to go off on a really gay tangent.
Well, because it's no longer a bromance.
Oh boy. Well, listen, one thing he said to me stuck with me a long time ago, which was iron sharpens iron. And I can't say that isn't true, especially within this community. That is for damn sure.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. And is that a gun in your pants?
And can I put my ring
So
on your
guys,
finger?
let's welcome. We also got another one of our ARC legends, Knight Rider. He's saying hi, joining us. Good to see you on the live stream, Knight Rider. All right, guys. we digress a little bit there, but okay, community is really important. And, you know, knowing that you're not alone. If you're watching this live at the moment, you know, I want you to know that you are really not alone. We got incredible dads in our group that can help you out. So if you would like some help, click the link down below this video to join our free Facebook community. We have an incredible community of 2,000 dads who are in the exact same situation as yourself and are working to create a new unbreakable marriage. So check out the link down below if you'd like some help with that, and you can become part of our community. All right, wonderful, guys. So let's start to land this plane here as we go, you know. So Tim is asking about what do I need to do here. So we covered a couple of things. Let's just refresh it. So in order to be able to make that decision, is it time to give up? So I'm separated. Let's break it up. Look, I got the technical side is now sorted out. Now I'm just showing off. So Tim asking that it's separated for 6 months. Is it time to give up? You guys did an amazing job of covering the kind of things that we need to look at. The first thing is we need to heal, right? So give space is actually what Optimus hit on. Got to give space. Right? Space. Stop fucking chasing after your wife. Your marriage, it took a while to get here. Don't be looking for a silver bullet. It's going to take time to build back something new. Don't look at trying to resurrect a dead marriage, save the marriage. You need to change your mindset and look at creating a new space to create a new unbreakable marriage. That's why everybody in the ARC system wins, because that's what we're focused on, creating a new unbreakable marriage. So give them space. Then the healing process. You gotta heal. If you don't heal, you're going to be chasing after forever. You're going to chase after forever, or you're going to check out, move on to your next relationship and have the same issues happen again if you don't fully heal. And then you got to learn the skill set. You got to learn the skill set to create a new unbreakable marriage, which is having that emotional stability, right? Being able to regulate your emotions, to have the right mindset, to have that exceptional communication, to be able to communicate with your wife, to rebuild the emotional safety in the marriage and to reconnect with her. These are all the skill sets that you need to have. And Labaya, this is hitting back on you. You said, you know, you go in and, you know, each man knows for himself when it's time to give up. And the fact of the matter is they don't, because you have had the wherewithal to decide to come in and apply and come into the ARC system. So you had a systemized one where, you know, okay, you come in, you do the work. Either you're going to create a new unbreakable marriage with your current wife, or you're going to go and create a new unbreakable marriage with your next partner that deserves you, right? That's what you had. So guys that are watching from the outside, they don't have that. So literally, they can just be like a hamster in a wheel, just going round and round in their own trauma. And so anybody that's watching this, what I wish for you is to heal from this, to learn this, to understand. Give space is first thing. Heal and understand that your marriage didn't get here for no reason, right? It got here for a reason. Understand the problems, eradicate the problems, to build back a new unbreakable marriage. Now, if this is resonating with you, what I want you to do, guys, is you can check out the link down below. There's a masterclass where we teach the whole ARC system. We give an overview of what it's about, and we'll give you that insight to understand what's been happening in your marriage. Check out that link below and enroll in our free masterclass today. And it's only when you have all these pieces to the puzzle, then you can make that decision that, okay, now do I continue on because I see light at the end of the tunnel and things are going in the right direction, or do I just deserve better? And is it time now to not to give up, but to move on? That this marriage is done. Now I deserve someone better, someone that deserves my love, that deserves my respect. So let's get a show of hands of all the ARC legends. You guys are on the call. How many of you are, like, without going into the actual outcomes of your marriages, because I know we got a mix. Some of you guys have moved on, some of you guys reconciled. Let's get a show of hands. How many of you, as of today, are at peace with what's happened in your marriage and feel confident and happy about your future moving forward? All right. I can't see what fucking cowboys in the dark there, so I'm assuming you have to stand up.
he's like flipping it all
yes,
off.
my hand is up, Luke.
That's it. I know, man. Yeah, I know. I'm only fucking with you. So inevitably, that's what I wish for everybody, is to be able to get to that point where you know, beautiful hand. I can see hairs on it. So what I wish for everybody that is struggling in the marriage is to get to a point where they go, you know what? This has been a fucking shit show. But I want to clean up my side of the street. Like you said a couple of months ago, Ronan, you know, our job is to clean up our side of the street, to get to a place where, you know what? I did my best, that my kids got to see me come through a really tough time, to come out of it on the right side of things. that I can now show them what a deeply loving, intimate relationship looks like, whether that's with my current wife or with someone else. But they see how dad dealt with a difficult time. Because let's not fucking mess around here, guys. This is when you have a marriage in crisis, it's one of the most stressful times and difficult times in your life, right? And rather than trying to focus on how do I get that back and get her back into my life as quickly as possible, we need to focus on the healing process. Okay? Wonderful. So now, guys, that you now understand what it takes or what you needed the decision-making process to when it's time to move on, you're going to want to watch this next video where we're going to share with you our structured separation protocol that's going to help you drastically improve your chances to navigate your separation successfully.